Yeah. So yeah, you got the
Frenchman at the top of the draft.
what is
We're in the midst of a French sporting revolution.
that's really what's going on.
Oh, I just broke a mic. Yeah. All right, I think it's okay.
You think it's okay?
I think. It just kind of went limp.
No. If you want it back up.
That's never a good thing.
Like that, right? Oh, that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's this.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Is that me? Yeah, that is me. Or is that you?
It's probably you. That's funny.
What is this? And then Reed Shepard goes to the Rockets. So you got two Frenchmen, and then you have a guy from the UK.
Who's from the UK?
Reed, this guy named Reed Shepard.
He's
No.
Jesus. Wow.
I just caught that when you said it. Like, who's UK? That's hilarious.
He's like,
He's that guard.
but he's like literally a Kentucky
white
blue
guy.
blood. His dad played on the '98 Patino team.
Yeah.
And
Well, he
or
is-
the Tubby Smith team actually.
He is a white guy. He could have been from the UK.
He could have been, but he's one of those Kentucky white guys. The rare athletic Kentucky white guy. His dad, Rex Chapman, and him, a cast of three.
And do you like that?
He's a good player. I mean, there were some metrics that didn't favor him. Like he's athletic, he can play, he plays hard, really good on defense, got a lot of steals over the course of the year. But I think there were some metrics like with regard to like playmaking and functioning out of the pick and roll that were not very flattering.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. He should do well, but again, the problem with this draft is I don't think you would be happy picking any of these players in the top 7.
Mm.
Like if you started the draft at 7 and took these same guys, you'd probably be reasonably happy. Like if you're drafting Reed Shepard at 10, oh, nice pickup. We like it. But 3, it feels stretched.
Okay. We just got a message saying we're breathing kind of hard, so
Hey,
maybe we want to.
cardio's not where it needs to be. Gotta upgrade our professionalism. Is that a male or female worrying about our breathing? I think it's pertinent.
Oh man, what you said is the cardio is not up to date.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes I can hear it. I didn't hear it that time though.
Yeah, I don't know. That's why I was trying to position the mic the right place.
Yeah.
Very fickle, this mic.
And I'm still trying to find the live. We just trying to get things together still a little bit. You know? I mean, we're 2 minutes. No, we were 4 minutes ahead of schedule, so I feel like we got a little.
Got some time to fuck around.
Yeah, man. Let us breathe hard for the first 5 minutes. Why not?
We'll settle in and find a rhythm.
Oh man.
First bit of penetration takes the breath away.
Let me share this on the socials. Okay. On the Bench Podcast.
The social sounds so corny.
Does it? The socials?
Yeah. Really corny.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, I do.
I felt pretty good about that.
Yeah, you shouldn't. No. You're getting old and out of touch. It's happening quickly.
So I gotta move, right? And
Yeah.
I'm cleaning and I'm just cleaning and trash pile, Goodwill pile, and whatever I'm gonna give to my pops. And so and I find this shirt that I literally I've never worn, and it's tucked away.
You've
under
never
all the
worn
stuff.
it once?
Never worn it once.
Ugh.
And I pulled it out and I said, "Oh man, this is sporty." And then I thought to myself, "I'm getting old as hell, man. This is sporty. This is sporty. Damn, this is sporty."
That's funny. Are you gonna have a big red man move you?
I don't have much stuff at all,
Okay.
but I'm thinking about it.
Do you need boxes? I know a guy.
You know a guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I probably do need some boxes.
All right. Yeah. I'll put you in touch with him.
All right. You got a box guy.
Yeah. Got a box guy.
Nothing wrong with that.
That's funny. What's the most interesting thing in Goodwill pile?
Oh, jackets.
Jackets.
The winter is coming. They're gonna need some jackets. I have too many jackets, man.
Okay.
But I was in Atlanta, so it's freezing. It gets fucking really cold in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And so so I just don't need those, especially the really heavy ones.
Yeah.
So maybe somebody's down here and they're about to move to Canada,
A colder climate or something.
Yeah.
Thankfully, Bubba's put some jackets out there.
That I barely worn.
Yeah.
Paid a couple $100 for them.
Couple $100 per jacket?
Well, they were on sale, so I didn't pay a couple $100, but that's the tag value.
My son Bryson, he does that. Like it's like, Dad, I got to get a jacket. It's cold. I'm like, okay. Like, what are we talking? He's like, $500. Like, what kind of jacket are you buying? Like, does it come with a free blowjob? Like, what is going on?
It better.
It better, yeah.
Yeah.
It needs to be transferred to me, the pair of the jacket.
Women's clothes are so much cheaper than ours anyway. It's not even funny.
Probably wear more of them, I guess.
You think so?
Are they really? I haven't shopped for women's clothes.
No, they definitely wear more.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least the quality ones, I guess. Because I can wear the same fucking. I can wear within a week I may switch things up 2 to 3 times.
Yeah.
Same. I recycle the same basketball clothes.
Yeah.
And then gym and here and I don't know. I don't go out as much anymore, so I don't need much of anything.
Things are slowing down for you.
Yeah, things are vastly slowing down. Yes, you are on the bench podcast with Bubba and Pink, home of sports, music, and mayhem. We're available on all podcast streaming platforms, including here on YouTube. Please like, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff. We have a pretty good show for you guys today. We're going to be talking about some NBA draft stuff that is underway. An underwhelming class of players, but there is some interesting things like where's LeBron James' son going to go? There's going to be some trades. There already have been a couple of trades, so we're going to focus our talk on that stuff. Okay, we got the one of those trades was the New York Knicks last night, so we'll talk about that. And they actually made a move earlier today with OG. We'll talk about that as well. You got JJ Redick maybe calling people the N-word. Okay, and then we'll also talk about a couple of other things that are our main topic here with JJ. Okay, then you got the presidential debate. I don't know what Pink is going to go with that one, but I feel like we have to talk about it.
You know where I'm going to go.
It's
No surprise.
It's one of those things you just have to touch on because it's here and it's trending and it's, And then
touch with a guillotine.
got some MJ stuff too. We got a good show for you guys today. Atlanta Part 4 series at the end there.
All right.
Catch that at the end of the show. So we got some things for you guys. All right. In that top right, just really quick, it was a thing about support who supports you, and that has been like one of those things you say in the past couple of years. I don't know who started and it's trending and whatever.
Was it Bulb?
No, I don't know.
I mean, he had like a support your supporter T-shirt I got
before the Guard Up.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know. I thought Guard Up was his first.
No,
venture.
Pre, man, you're late to the game.
Yeah, I'm late to the game. I'm sorry, Bulb. My Haitian brother. Okay. Sock passe. But so no, man, the support who supports you, I think it's off base. That's what I think. I think it's a little off base, and I think it's overstated. You know what I mean? Because I think in this culture, and I could be wrong, but I think a lot of that is saying I'm only going to support who supports me, because you have a lot of people in this podcast space or in the what do they call it, like just when you're on social media and you're doing the videos, content creator, you know what I mean? And then you have your musicians, your artists, your comedians, your this, your that, okay? And then you got people with small businesses, entrepreneurships and things like that. And a lot of that requires other people to either watch, view, or share or purchase and things like that. I've always been in the camp of you just gotta really focus on your craft and who is interested in it. You know what I mean? Like I really honestly don't feel some type of way about the people who do not watch or share our show.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't, I'm not mad because,
I'm furious.
my
I
little
walk around in a homicidal rage every day.
my older sister watches the show more than my little sister never watches. I'm
Okay.
not, I'm not going to decline her cash apps when she sends it over to me. You know what I mean? Hey, share my podcast stuff. But she's just not into it, and that's fine, and that goes for everybody.
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
I'm not going to support her because she's not not supporting me. You know what I mean? Now, where I do, and I kind of touched this on the show a couple of weeks ago, where I do feel is if you're, there are some people who will sort of like force you into purchasing or sharing their stuff, and that's cool. That's a guerrilla tactic. You know what I mean?
Is it cool, or maybe it's not that good?
No, it's cool. It's a tactic, and it's okay. Like, and
Okay.
what I mean by that is, like, they'll literally send it to you in your DM or via text. Hey, watch and share this, and that'll be it. There's no how you doing today or whatever.
Yeah.
And they'll do that, right? But if you're not doing the same for me, then I do feel some type of way.
I got you.
You know what I'm saying?
I think there's a fine line. But going to the point you did, talk about being ambushed. So I was going to Wawa the other day, and this guy rolls up on me on foot, and he's got like a CD. He's like, bro, man, you need to support my music. And he wants to hand me a CD and wants me to pay for it. I'm like, dude, I have no idea what your music's all about. It might really be bad.
Yeah.
And I don't own a CD player and haven't for a decade. Like, what am I supposed to do with this? Like, I can't do anything with this CD.
I don't have one in my computer. It's not in my car.
No, I don't have one anywhere in my life.
Yeah.
Like, it's just not a thing. But no, I do think there's different levels to it. So if somebody I know is doing something, I will try to support it, whether it's I'm buying a
Lone
Wolf
Justin Tucker.
Justin Tucker. I like to support people in what they're doing, but my belief, and it's kind of what I think where you're going, it's got to be good, and you don't go anywhere if you're just relying on your immediate circle to support you. Like, you get out of your situation and you blow up when you start reaching people you don't know. And that's when you actually go somewhere. So as long as you're just working on people I know or can connect with quickly, you're in a small place, and it's a small pond. But like the key with content and with any of this stuff is like you're only going to succeed when you're reaching people that don't know you until they see the content, and the content's got to support itself in the sense that people got to like it, they got to fuck with it, and if it's not good enough for that, you're just going to be a small time guy.
No, that's very true. And my point to that, though, is like you bought that shirt without knowing or caring if Tucker watches our show. You know what I mean? Like,
that's true. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I love to support people as well. Like, the girl who texted about us breathing hard, Kiki, she does content creation and it's all type of different things about travel, really about mini travel vlogs and stuff like that. But I like seeing that, because she goes to all these different places. She's trying out the food. She's trying to. So yeah, I do watch and I'll comment if I like it or whatever, or don't like it or whatever, and what have you. But there are some people that I know that do things or into things that I'm just not into.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And that should be fine.
Yeah. No, it's got to be okay. Yeah. Like,
you know what I'm saying?
Like, if you're into church, I ain't supporting you. Like, we're just not on the same side of things.
Oh my God.
Like, you could be a church man without me.
Yeah, like you're saying, if they venture into preaching, don't look for me to come and support.
Don't send me Bible verses or any of that stuff.
I'm talking about you going and
damn sure ain't doing that.
Putting money in a collection plate.
I ain't doing that.
Helping the building fund.
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
When the building ain't gonna be no new additions are being on that building. But yeah. So that's, I don't know. Because I see that a lot, and I just wanted to touch on that. That's all.
I think you
heart.
have something right there.
Okay.
It was on your heart.
Yeah, it was on my heart.
Emotional guy.
Something else that's on my heart. I just wanted to knock this out. Okay, is this Michael Jordan thing here, man? Okay. And this has been going around last couple of weeks. Will Lee is losing his mind over it. And I want to have my take, and then I want you to respond, and we'll get into a little bit there before we move on. Okay? So as you can see, how I interpreted it and how I came across it is I believe it was just a blanket statement made by Scottie Pippen in his book, right? First, saying that, hey, back in the day, man, scorekeepers used to fabricate Michael Jordan's stats, okay? And I think a lot of people overlooked it because it's Scottie, every once in a while he will say something negative about Jordan. Then he may come back and recant it or whatever, or not. So now, recently, there was a one of the top main NBA analysts, okay, and help me out, not a statistician, but
no. My understanding, I forget the guy's name in the team, but he runs like an analytics department for a team in the NBA currently, is my understanding of it. And apparently, he decided to sort of take a deep dive into the films and kind of do his own analysis of this.
Yeah, now he started with Michael Jordan, and he went specifically to the year that Scottie kind of referenced, which was his Defensive Player of the Year award year.
The 87-88 campaign.
87-87 year. He led the league in scoring, and he won Defensive Player of the Year. One of Jordan's prime accomplishments. Okay, not to topple those 6 rings. Okay, but we'll get to that in a little bit. So, and what happens is what the first thing that guy caught was his stats were much, much better at home than it was on the road. And the reason for that was, and it's not the same now. So back in the day, they used to have, every team has its own, statisticians, and then they run their own stats, and they're able to pencil it in. And also the thing about it is all 50-50 calls, all the, like Scottie made a couple references in his book where he said, I would tip the ball away. Okay, I would tip the ball away from the guy, and then the ball would be rolling, and then MJ would pick it up, and they would give MJ the steal. Okay, so this guy,
I've always felt that is the definition of the steal, because a deflected ball where possession is not secured is a deflection, and it only becomes a turnover when somebody on your team secures the basketball,
right?
Secures possession. So I read that, and I felt a little weird about that. I'm like, well, that is the key to a steal. Somebody secured possession.
But that's not the rule, right?
Well, fuck the rule. The rule.
So the rule and how it is now, whoever led the league in steals to this year and whatever, since the new commissioner came in and kind of took more control and charge of how stats are kept in record and recorded. It's just that it's the person that who creates the turnover, not kind of finish it or completes it. You know what I mean? And so but that's just one small piece. That's not all of the steals, but basically the steals, they were adding steals as well. There were many cases where Jordan would have more steals than the other team would have total turnovers. You know what I mean? There would be things like that. So they were just adding stats to Michael Jordan. Now, okay, he also, after that was just a year, but he also went on and he found more and more information and where that happened throughout Jordan's career on the defensive side and with steals and blocks, things like that. Of course, not with points or whatever, or they didn't doctor any wins or anything like that. But we're just talking about this stuff like that, rebounds they did. And then he went further into that era, and there was John Stockton has been his assist. You know what I mean? Those that been heavily doctored, and other things like that. And the thing is, when the new commissioner came in, with the commissioner after what was his name?
David Stern.
David Stern.
Well, it would be Adam Silver, the current commissioner.
Yeah. So after David Stern, so Silver came in and kind of, that was his first thing he did. So I don't know if he knew about this or if this was a known thing in the league, which now everybody's saying it was, okay, and just not made public. But that was one of the first initiatives he had, was to take control and take charge and change the way that stats are recorded. So this does not happen anymore. It has not happened. And this main guy who did it, he led the charge in his team, he actually did some numbers on current guys. You know what I mean? For example, Memphis, they thought that the Memphis center, his blocks,
Jaren
Jackson, they thought that his blocks may have been doctored, but they weren't. They were all accounted for.
Okay.
Now, all that being said, okay, my thing is I've always, and Pink knows, I've always been on the side where I just don't think those guys from the 90s were that good. I just don't, okay? I don't think the guys that Jordan played against were that good. I didn't think Jordan was that good. When I say that good, not the GOAT, not as good as everyone says he is. And the only thing I ever had was my 2 eyes to see. The stats didn't back me up. The wins didn't back me up. And that's all I could see was I could see. I saw the series where they had to take Jordan off of Gary Payton, who was not some great offensive player. Gary Payton was destroying him. They had to take him off and put Scottie Pippen on him, and that's what really won them the series. And watching all this other stuff, I can watch that and see it, and it happened, and I know it happened, but it didn't matter because I didn't have anything to back up my argument. So my arguments always sounded ridiculous. So today, when these things come out, I feel vindicated. I feel like, damn, I'm not a crazy person, because the world feels MJ is like the undisputed GOAT. But it's just really not a fucking deal. It's like it's not I'm not on a victory tour. That's why I'm not on social media saying, we got him. He's a fraud. It's not like the cat in the bag. It's just something to where if you were on that side of the argument like me, it's just something you just say, yeah, I knew it all along and you guys didn't. But that's kind of it. That's kind of where it goes, because in the end, you're not going to you can't take the winning away. He won 6 championships. He dominated his era. He was a great scorer, great athlete. Okay. None of that stuff you can take away. So that's my side. That's my take.
Yeah. My take was, I think we're getting to the point where it's overdue for Michael Jordan to kill Scottie Pippen. Scottie Pippen, I was a big Scottie Pippen guy as a player. His versatility, his skill, I loved him as a player. But as a retired guy, he has just been involved in like way too many horseshit statements. And like you said, like one time he'll say something negative about Jordan, let another month pass, and he'll say something positive. Same thing with LeBron. Like he'll say LeBron's great, and then he'll say I was the LeBron before LeBron. Like he's just this wild, like pathetic guy starving for attention, and he'll say or do anything to get that and to keep that. Maybe he's troubled by his ex-wife banging guys half his age. That can get under your skin a bit. It's okay. We understand. But you focus on maybe banging some new girls and less on making stupid statements that are just controversy for nothing. Now, I'm not a stats guy. Mm-hmm. Never really have been a big stats guy. I'm a, watch it, feel it, live it type of guy. And, like a championships guy. And so this doesn't impact how I regard Jordan at all. But I also, the thing that, like, I genuinely believe at this point in time, there's an enormous amount of people that regard LeBron James as the GOAT. There's a significant amount of people that feel that way about Jordan. And there's probably a smattering of people that might make an argument for somebody else. So I'm just so past the fact that we have to kind of have this non-existent fight every time these guys do anything or a story pops off about either one. It's just largely irrelevant. And I mean, to me, LeBron's on the cusp of being irrelevant as an active NBA guy. He's still in the league. He still plays well, but he's not. The league doesn't revolve around him anymore. It did for a long time, rightly so. But let's just live more in the moment and stop worrying about what's said and dug up from 30 or 40 years ago. At this point,
it is interesting though.
Not really.
It.
I mean,
it's weird because it doesn't matter.
Have you ever kept stats though?
Yeah, yeah.
Like I'll admit, like I
in games,
yeah,
being a stat keeper.
Yeah. I'm lenient on certain things. I'm lenient on assists for sure. I will credit an assist not by some rule in a rule book, but did that pass create the basket? Like, and again, I don't care if the guy took 2, 3, 4 dribbles or whatever. If that pass broke the defense down and created the basket, that's an assist. I'm going to grant it. I think that anybody who's keeping stats, there is some inherent bias in what you're viewing, and it's rooted in how you see the game. I'm like a pass-first guy. I love passes, and I'm going to be a little bit more biased on that. And I mentioned earlier in this piece, I have a certain definition of a steal, because to me it doesn't happen until possession is secured. And so I'm never going to credit a guy deflecting a ball. I'll credit him with a deflection, but not a steal. Because again, if I bat the ball away from you and somebody on your team gets it and hits a 3 because we're out of position, that's not a steal. I haven't done anything. That I look at it as whatever it is.
But then you're almost getting into like two different sports then, because it's like, because if they've changed it to the way that whatever the NBA is supposed to be now,
right,
then these guys are at a, like, again, I know I'm in a small camp that doesn't believe these guys are as good as they. Like, I've never been a John Stockton guy. I just think I can freestyle 20 guys, 20-point guards I believe were a lot better. I just saw him play. I just think he didn't. And they talking about thousands of assists that just shouldn't have been assists for him. If you take those away and he's not the all-time assist leader, then what is John? John is just a guy who lost a lot. But because he's the all-time assist leader, he's given that, you know what I mean? He's given that, and he's able to be put above all of these other guys. He just doesn't belong over. John Stockton just was not that good. He just wasn't. Like, and he had some pick and roll, pick and pops. He passed to Carl, but he didn't pass to Carl 5,000 fucking times like that. You know what I mean?
He might have it. A very structured offense.
Yeah.
I mean, like, again, it doesn't, like, that. John Stockton being the assist leader has nothing to do with my evaluation of John Stockton. And I hated the Jazz. I hated John Stockton when he was a player. The older I got, the more I learned, basketball. I do have respect for his accomplishments and kind of the uniqueness of his career, as it were.
See, accomplishments. But what if it's not supposed to be an accomplishment? Correction, it's not supposed to be an accomplishment. You see what I'm saying? It's not.
I don't. When I'm looking at, like,
that's the only one he has.
But I'm not looking at that. When I'm using the term accomplishments, I'm saying that this is a guy that played for about 2 decades, was on consistently winning teams, played, a huge majority of his team's games, was available. And again, he was a tough son of a bitch. He got where he wanted to get on the floor. He executed his team's offense at a high level for 2 decades. That's what I look at. I'm not looking at, were 2,000 or 3,000 assists fudged by a scorekeeper in Utah. Like, that's not going to change how I view John Stockton. And I agree with you. I mean, there's a whole bunch of guards I would take in front of him if I'm picking a team. But I'm comfortable in saying he's a fantastic player, great career, respect that. Even though, again, while he was playing, hated him, wanted him to get hurt every week. Like, he was not my guy. But, like, I'll respect a man's career if it's worthy of that. And it's not connected to being the all-time assist leader. It's just connected to 2 decades of pretty damn high-level play.
Yeah. I just, for that purpose, though, I kind of wish, like, Adam just didn't mess with it then. Because, then maybe LeBron does win a couple of Defensive Player of the Year awards if the guys in Cleveland, Miami, and L.A. could add 10 steals.
Let's go. All right, well, I'm glad you mentioned that because, like, for me, whether he was the defensive player or not, Miami Heat LeBron James was the best defensive player on the planet. And I don't care about your awards. That man could lock up damn near any basketball player. He locked up KD in that era. He locked up MVP Derrick Rose in that era. He locked people up. And like to me, and again, his help defense, his ability to do stuff off the ball and terrorize. I mean, he was unfucking real. And that's to me, I don't need him to have Defensive Player of the Year on his resume for me to understand that. I watched it, I saw it, I felt it. I don't need more proof than that.
No, I got you. All right, well, that's good for that conversation there. All right, let's move on to some present day basketball. All right, where the New York Knicks made a crazy deal to where they pretty much gave up every available asset they had as far as draft picks and Bojan, okay, and which is a guard, moving him over to Brooklyn, and Brooklyn sends over Mikal Bridges, who that was my number one and pretty much only player in the entire league that I wanted Philadelphia 76ers to grab. So that sucks. And makes the New York Knicks a really tough team. And then today they, signed OG to the extension. And a lot of rumors were circulating about that. And New York Knicks immediately put that to ice. And they're bringing OG back.
You're thinking in the sense of when they trade for Bridges that might signal that OG's on his way out.
Yes.
I get it. I love this move.
I just
love this. How
can you not?
I mean, the Villanova boys are together. I mean, this is like, man, imagine if me and our friends got together, we were on the NBA team. Like, this is what's happening. This is what they're doing. This is super cool. This is good for basketball, good for New York. I'm happy as hell about this. This is really cool. This is a trade I'm really happy happened.
This is a great deal for the Knicks, especially bringing OG back, because having OG and Mikal on the wings, this really sets them up for Boston. Now, what happens, when a team wins a championship in any league, what happens is the league tries to adjust to that team to make sure that team does not, run away. Especially if they make it look easy.
Well, you just know when somebody wins a title, like that's who we got to beat.
That's who we got to beat.
It's not even that they're running away. It's like you got to beat that if you want to go anywhere.
And if Boston had three, whatever, or a dominant big man, then it would have been different. But because of the wings kind of control the success of that team, that's what the Knicks have done. Now they're strong on the wing. OG and Mikal can compete with Tatum and Brown on the wing. But then you have all of these, special role players like Josh Hart and DiVincenzo, and then you have your star guard, okay, and Brunson. They can do some damage in New York, and they will do some damage. Now, this has to mean the two bigs are not coming back, at least Hartenstein, because Hartenstein, he would have to take a pay cut to come back. And that sucks. We talk about that all the time. But he just would have to because of all this money they're throwing around. And also, he's a good big. I mean, you know what I mean? So there are going to be teams that are going to throw some good big numbers at him. And, he's a current free agent. So that has to mean he's out of here. And then at that point, you have to do what you can to keep Robinson in. But I much rather take this route. And then if you have to go minimum contracts, go to the garbage can for some bigs who can just rebound and play defense, you just do that.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to say it. I would prefer there's a scenario where they can keep the rest of the roster together with the exception of Julius Randle. But, I just – it'll be disappointing if they have to lose, one or both of those guys. Again, that's why I hate salary cap and all that stuff because it's, Hartenstein's a guy like they've and Mitchell, both. Like, those are not, like – high lottery guys that they lucked themselves into. Those are guys they developed, and they've both become good NBA guys. And I hate to see them have to go. I hope there's a way that it doesn't have to come to that.
No, that's for sure. And then also I forgot about the Julius Randle piece. I didn't even name him.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like a lot of people say, oh yeah, then you can't forget Randle. He's this high. I think we're both as low on Randle as one can be, and and if they can move him, and get a piece or two, as far as big men, that would be helpful, and I'm sure they're looking at that. I
just don't. I mean, here's the thing. Like Tibbs is not big on like a lot of rotation in the roster.
Yeah.
And you've got these guys and OG, and you're gonna have to play some bigs with this group. Like, I don't think there's a real role for him anymore that that suits him. Now he has his flaws as a player, but he's a player, and he he needs a certain role to do what he does. And I think it's just mutual for both parties, him and the Knicks, that he do that somewhere else. But Julius Randle is the type of player that was good for the Knicks when he got there. Like he's a guy that can score, that can kind of do some things. And if you're not a particularly good team and you're kind of try to get up a level, he's not a bad fit for that because he can go consistently score in NBA regular season games.
Yeah.
And he'll give you something there. And I don't think he's an asshole or a bad guy. So I think, he'd be good for the right team, but I don't think it's the Knicks anymore.
It'd be interesting to see where they go. And I don't even want to play the game of, where do you see the Knicks right now? Can they compete with this or that team, because this team is not complete yet. We don't know what's going to happen with Julius. We don't know what's going to happen with Hartenstein and some of these other characters here. So, once that does happen, we'll revisit that and see when this team is complete.
Well, and arguably, none of the teams are complete. I mean, we're drafting guys right now.
Yeah.
There's going to be a free agency window that opens up, and we have to see where all those pieces land. And, you'll have the secondary free agent market, and you'll probably have some off-season trades as well. And you got to just see where everybody stacks up next year.
Yeah, for sure. And like I said, 76ers literally have 2 players on their roster. So, and that's another thing, man. With Philly, talk about bad luck. Bad planning. Everything is just going to the shitter right now. And, you got the Paul George news coming out where he's not really interested in Philly. And it's funny because he's currently on the team with Harden, and Harden just had that big blow up with, I mean, with Daryl Morey. So, I'm sure James is in his ear saying, yeah, well, that's the last place you want to go. And so, he doesn't want to come to Philly, and we're kind of counting on that. Then OG resigns, so we're not going to get OG, okay, not going to get Mikal. And where the only option is really Brandon Ingram or bust. And I don't want Ingram.
Nah, I don't want him at all.
And you make this plan to have this cap space in this year, and it just sucks that this year there's nobody that, that's worth a max contract.
I'm not a huge fan of cap space because I feel at the end of the day when players move, it's usually not pure cap space. They're picking where they want to go, and if it comes down to it, there'll be a sign and trade of some sort.
Yeah.
I mean, so many of the bigger moves, that's what happens at the end of the day. And so, to sit there and basically position yourself to have cap space without an understanding that a player's definitely coming is almost idiocy in terms of a planning perspective.
Yeah.
At this level, I don't think it's the route to go. I think you need to accumulate assets literally at all times, and some of those assets could be expiring contracts or draft picks or whatever, so that when it comes down to, this guy wants to not be at his team anymore, or even when he's a free agent, it's going to make more sense to sign and trade him. That's what you've got to be prepared to engage in, and not just clear the cupboard and hope that you could sign somebody straight up. That just doesn't seem to be the model for most big guys moving.
Yeah, it doesn't. All right, let's get into a little draft talk here. Okay, so there's already been a trade. So really quick, so we know the Hawks took Zach Frenchman here, Zach Researcher or whatever. He's a guard forward. Okay. And then you had Washington Wizards took Alex Sarr, another Frenchman, okay, and like we said, he wanted to go to Washington. We have no idea why, but that was the team he wanted to go to all along.
Alex, you're an NBA player. Diplomatic immunity is not important.
So he gets his wish. Okay, he'll be over there with Kuzma in the gang. Then Houston Rockets take Reed Shepherd, okay, the guard from Kentucky.
The great British player.
And he's a really good shooter there, a really, really good shooter, and he's athletic. So we'll see how that pans out. And Houston actually is another team that kind of racked up on some picks last night, and they're trying to pull away Durant or Booker from Phoenix. So they're trying to. They have plenty of assets. So we'll see how that goes. Now the Spurs at number 4, they took Stephon Castle. Okay, the guard from UConn. Okay. So, how do you like that pick for Wemby and the Spurs?
He's a very good two-way player, tough guy. I think it's a solid pick. And I said this before the air, like this is the type of draft that if you started at pick 7 and picked these players, you'd be happy. But picking any of these guys prior to 7 is a little uncomfortable. I don't think Castle's a star. I think he'll be a very good NBA player, but not an all-star. I'll be surprised if he is. Okay. But again, he is what I think he'll project as is a really solid two-way player.
Yeah.
And if the Spurs want to surround Wemby with that, that's probably not a bad thing.
Okay. And we'll look to see if the Spurs make any additional moves in this offseason, like Trae Young or DeJounte Murray or some of those other guys. Detroit take So Detroit Pistons, they take Ron Holland. Okay, guard from G League. Okay, and let's see here. He once was he was once number 1 in the draft class. So you got that going. Okay, but he had a rough G League. He had a rough time in the G League.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's not a good thing if you were once number 1 and you're not number 1 now. Like that, you're not trending in the right direction. So
yeah.
I mean, come to think of it, who's ever succeeded in that spot?
That's tough.
I mean, you got Amani Bates, like he's fucking G League guy.
Yeah.
Like I can't think of a guy that was regarded as the number 1 guy in his class and fell from that things went well for.
Exactly. Now, Charlotte Hornets take a guy, I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name. He's a power forward out of Chalette. I don't even know what Chalette is. I don't know any of this stuff.
It's probably French.
Take a stab?
Yeah. Tijan Salon.
Oh, man.
From Chile.
Look at Pink.
Another French guy.
Another Frenchman.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Hornets go with the Frenchman there. Hopefully he can shoot. Okay, so we'll see how that goes. They gave him a C grade for this, so
yeah,
that's not a good sign.
No.
Okay. Portland took Donovan Clingan. Okay,
big man from Connecticut.
The big man from UConn. So he'll be in Portland. Portland has all of these young pieces, and then Jeremy Grant is just sitting there.
They got Aiden,
and they have Aiden.
That's an interesting pick.
It is, and Aiden has at least 2 or 3 more years on his max deal.
Yeah, that is an interesting pick. I mean, conceivably you could bring Clingan along slowly.
Yeah.
Yeah. His first year at Connecticut, they had another big man that was the primary guy, and Clingan was the backup. And then this year, he was the primary guy, and they had a guy behind him. So, developmentally, I think he'll be comfortable coming in and being a backup and maybe developing into a starting role.
And there's no pressure in Portland at all.
Yeah.
For foreseeable future. Okay. Now, the Rob Dillingham, okay, he was selected with the Spurs' second first-round pick, and then he got traded to Minnesota, okay?
Ooh.
Yeah. So he got traded to Minnesota. So Rob Dillingham will be in Minnesota. Now, he's a guard, right?
But, yeah, he's a kind of like a slick, almost like an old-school New York City guard.
Yeah.
Like he's got some shake to his game, and he's kind of like a score-first guy. Be very interesting with Ant. And I guess you could play behind Conley for a year or whatever and transition in. Maybe they'll look to have him maybe kind of be an offensive spark off the bench early in his career and see how that develops. But if you're Ant, I don't know. He's a talented guy, but I'm not sure that that's a great thing, because I think he'll optimize his value. I think he'll have to have the ball in his hands, and he'll have to have a little freedom to do stuff.
Yeah. Now, the Grizzlies. I'm already getting texts. Rob Dillingham to the Spurs, but he was just traded. Yeah. Things move that fast.
Catch up with us.
The Grizzlies. They take Edey. My man.
Your man.
I'm riding with him, man. I'm riding.
Enjoy.
I'm riding and dying. And the Grizzlies, man, a lot of people forget about the Grizzlies because of Ja and all of that stuff, but he's well on track to bounce back beginning of the next season.
And in the brief snippet of time that he played this year, he was very good.
Yeah.
He was very, very good.
Yeah. So we'll see. Now that's still an interesting pick to me because, like you say, you have a center there already. Okay, so maybe they're looking for Zach to be, I don't know, some type of scoring punch from the big man off the bench. Okay, because you're not going to move.
Zach Edey is a mechanical post-up guy.
Yeah.
He's huge. By all accounts, he's extremely strong for his frame, and so he's a load. He's going to be a guy that will go down to the post, catch the ball, and probably score on a lot of people.
Yeah.
The question is, can he hold up defensively? If pulled away from the basket and tasked with guarding some actions and some people that can shoot away from the basket, that'll be the challenge for him. And can he, in that context, be a significant minutes player, or will he be a guy that can be played out of games, kind of like a Rudy Gobert type?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, the jury's open. I don't think that that's a terrible selection. It's not exciting to me, but I don't think it's terrible.
Exactly. All right. When some more big news come out. Now we did get a comment saying that college basketball may be dying here, or because there's not a ton of U.S. guys being picked in this top 10. Okay, you got 3 Frenchmen, 1 G Leaguer. So college basketball may be losing its draw, is what he says.
Well, I mean, this is a topic that we talked about on the show before. Like our development of players in the U.S. is not great. And, I talked about it specifically with me. I think that you have, up until you're 17, 18 years old, you're largely playing, all of your structured basketball is in age group play. And that's not really great for development. Yeah. In a European setting, you have guys that, when they're talented, 15, 16, 17, they're kind of put into professional settings with grown men and find their way that way. And so when they're 16, 17, and 18, they're being pushed in a real way. I have a thing where the game sorts it out. It's like when you're playing against the top level available, it tells you what you are. And those players in that age are being pushed in that way. Our players in that age are tearing up AAU circuits, destroying other kids their age. And it's not the same. And you're not going to develop the same. Now, I would figure that and hopefully those, a lot of the U.S. players are getting at least good pickup runs with, pros, veteran college guys, dudes that are higher level. But that may not always be the case. And I looked at the Seattle thing, and Paulo Banchero, a guy that's important for the Magic, he was kind of, identified and mentored by some of the Seattle-based pros, Isaiah Thomas and Jamal Crawford in that. And I think they kind of told him, and I remember Jamal Crawford talking about it, it's like, when he's 15 years old, he was a back-to-basket post guy. And they got in his ear early at that time and said, hey, bro, the game's not played like this. You're great. I appreciate you, but if you want to succeed in our game, you need to do these other things. And to his credit, he took that and he developed a more diverse offensive game, and he's having a nice NBA career right now. But I think that that's not always the case for a lot of guys.
No, for sure.
That would have that type of mentorship. And I think we do need to consider how we develop players. And we've got to create situations, I think, where players can play up more meaningfully, Yeah. And again, when you're 14 or 15, you could play up with the 17 and 18s, and that's a challenge. But when you're 17 and 18, who are you playing up with in any sort of organized ball? You're not at the top of the food chain, and that's not good for your development.
No, that's for sure. And we'll see if things change or not. But I'll tell you what here. I want to give a quick shout out, and where development can change here is 3 the hard way, okay? So you see the dates here, August 10th through 11th. End of the summer showdown. Okay, 3 the Hard Way presents. Okay, boys and girls, 3rd through the 12th grade. Okay, there's a 3-game guarantee. Okay, come bring your children, get them developed. These are the type of camps that you want your kid to be a part of. If you're a coach, this is the type of tournament you want your team to be a part of. Okay, so check this out. 3 the Hard Way. They're on Instagram. They're on the socials, as I said earlier there. So look them up, check them out, and get your team in there. If you're a parent, get your kid in there. I'm telling you, that's the way to go this summer, all right? All right. So let's go here. Let me go here. Let's see here. We got a couple other things to do here. Let's get to some quick ones here, all right? Some quick ones here.
Quick hitters coming out of timeouts.
Yeah, quick hitters coming out of timeout. First, let's go to this one. A 20-year-old man flies from New Jersey down to our neck of the woods, Florida, and attacks a man with a hammer over an online gaming dispute.
And we get credited with Florida man. What about New Jersey man? This androgynous son of a bitch is out of control.
Now listen,
I'm not sure that's a man.
I tell people this, you know, I dib and dabble in the video game. I only play one, basketball. But no matter what, I'm not going to say that. I don't know because I don't play a lot of video games. But the video games that I do know of, you're talking to people from all different parts of the country, and they're on this headset. And, yeah, depending on what game you're playing, if it's a shooting game, even the basketball, sports games, shooting games, all of that, conversations get really saucy. It get really shaky, and guys get super upset. And, yeah, you're talking about pulling up on guys and shooting and fighting and, oh, you don't do this, you don't do that, you don't get no coochie. And this, all of this is going on. And, oh, wow, you got grown men like Bubba on this game. And then you have little kids, 13, 14-year-olds, and they're all communicating. There's no age restriction on these things. So people are talking to each other, and that's how they're talking to each other. It gets crazy. So if you are a parent, you probably do want to kind of monitor this thing some kind of way because it's crazy. It's crazy.
I'm not a gamer at all. I think it's quite corny. No offense, Bubba. Seem to be quite into it. My frame of reference for is like my two sons, like when they were younger, they used to play video games online and stuff. And Bryson was probably 10. Camden was maybe 11. And I just remember like Camden's like, "Hey, Dad, Bryson got suspended again." I'm like, "What? What do you mean?" He goes, "Yeah, he was saying some stuff to people." Like, what was he saying? And apparently like he was like threatening grown men. Like he was not. They were pretty good threats too. That's one of those ones you're kind of proud, but you kind of have to maybe fake that. Hey, be careful, son.
But no, you do have to be careful.
Why does it get so saucy?
Heated because you
said saucy. Don't make it heated now.
Well, saucy, heated. It depends on the person. But yeah, so yeah, it's
I'm thinking the guy up here was probably saucy.
It's a level of competition. It's competition. Okay, so whether you're in a shooting game and it matter, if you're getting kills and it's a team type of thing. If you're bringing the team down, you know what I mean, and you had a bad performance, but this other guy wants you to know that you had a bad performance and you shouldn't be on this game because a lot of times too, if you're going in like if you're at home but you don't have like other friends on. You're playing with random people. You're forced to play with random people.
Okay.
And those random people can like force you to lose or whatever you guys are.
Even though you're ostensibly a team, they can kind of put you in a position where you look like the bad guy.
No, they can put you in a position where you lose the game or lose the match.
Okay.
Or whatever you guys are doing just because of that one person's poor play. So, like, for example, this basketball.
You're not by intention. If you have a weak link,
yes,
he'll get you beat.
There you go.
That's the same thing in real basketball.
Yeah, I know.
you know something about that, don't you?
Yeah. So, yeah, man. But the point to this, though, is you got to be careful. Don't get so saucy, if you will, to where you're handing out your home address. because you don't think that this person is going to come see you because they're on a video game. Like that's silly. That's silly. That's dumb.
That is.
That's silly and that's dumb.
Like, let this be a lesson. Like, yeah, why would the trash like get like you like what is it like? Pull up.
Yes.
I'm at 415 Park Lake Drive,
Yes.
bitch.
That's what they do.
On.
That's what they do, man.
You deserve the hammer. Nah, if you're that stupid, like you do.
Now this guy, if he would have came, now he don't know what this other guy, is doing or has. They're strangers to each other.
Yeah.
Now in Florida, of course, we all know it's you can have whatever in your house and whatever. Now if that guy would have had a gun and would have shot this young 20-year-old man, then what? You're just coming with the hammer.
Well,
That's silly too.
It's bringing a knife to a gunfight.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, you can't do that. You gotta be prepared. I'm sure this guy had a little bit of the element of surprise. I mean, unless he like announced, "Hey, I'm gonna be there at 4." Like the guy didn't really have a chance to bunker down.
Shouldn't it be kind of hard to hide a hammer?
Nah.
If I see that guy walking around with a hammer, I know he's not a foreman. I know he's not I know he's not he doesn't work a job where he needs a hammer.
Yeah, it just
so he looks weird. He's a weird guy holding a hammer. I'm not, you don't need to be near my house.
But like again, unless the guy's like, "Hey, I'm pulling up on you at 4 o'clock," you're probably not thinking this. And how did the attack go down?
Yeah, we don't know.
Maybe this guy's like going to his driveway to get in his car, and homeboy comes out from behind the bush.
A true surprise.
Yeah,
attack.
maybe he like kind of goes ostensibly as like the Amazon delivery guy, rings the doorbell, steps aside, and then the guy comes to get a package. Kapow! I mean, there's a lot of options here. Be creative, man. There's a lot of ways to hammer a guy. There's a little subterfuge.
Oh man, let's move it along here.
Why? I got more ideas.
We don't want to hear your dark ideas, man.
Guys out tanning by the pool. Ba-boom!
Another thing though is how does this guy know what he looks like? That's another thing. But some people do. Some people do put their face.
If you put the face, if like how, I mean, the first thing is how do you get the address? Like how what is the banter that's going back and forth?
Yeah,
and it's like, I don't
That's
know.
the easiest part.
Or do you disclose? Like, I mean, is it like kind of like the story you told last week with like grandma having her phone number on the Facebook? Like, do you have like in gaming? Do you have like a profile page?
No. It would have had to been verbally said. The address, that is.
How about this though? Like he's in the heat of like this argument, and he has the awareness to break out like a little pen and paper.
What did you say? Was that a 2?
You son of a bitch! Confirm your address for me.
Winter Garden or Winter Park? They show these are 2 different places.
Yeah. I mean, what the heck, I know. If the guy disclosed even his like full name or something, and relative.
And then maybe he could get looked up.
Maybe
look
like if you, I don't know. I mean, again, I'm not part of these discussions, but like if there's enough there. I mean, like look at this guy though. Come on, think about it. He's not busy getting laid. He's got plenty.
He can do some research.
He's got plenty of time for research.
Yeah. He can do some research.
Come on, let's be realistic.
Yeah. All right. We have the president debate coming up this week, tomorrow. First of all, will you be watching?
No.
Do you ever watch the debates?
No.
You didn't watch when even Obama was it?
No.
Just because you're not going to get swayed, so
right.
There's no reason.
Why waste my time?
Yeah.
No, I just before Obama I'd never voted, so it didn't really matter.
Mm-hmm. And
then with Obama I voted, but I knew I was an Obama guy, and then since then it's just anti-idiocy. So like I know what direction I'm going there.
Yeah.
So debate's not going to sway anybody. It's kind of an exercise in futility.
Is it?
Yeah. What's it going to do? Especially this, like you 2 fucking geriatric dudes. Like, what are they gonna do?
No, but that's they should put out a poll. I wonder. Well, I mean, if here's the problem with the poll. It really sway?
Here's the problem with the poll. Like, if you ask the question, you're gonna get an answer. You're gonna get poll data. People will probably say yes just because you're asking the question. I think there's a psychological bias in that particular question. Like, did you watch the debate? Did it influence your vote? Because here's the thing: if you ask a person, "Did you watch the debate?" and they say no, that's the end of the inquiry. They're out of the sample size. So you're only talking about a sample size of people. Did you watch the debate? did it sway your opinion? Or did you find it useful in arriving at your decision? So it's almost like a biased sample size to me.
Yeah.
That's not going to really indicate much of anything.
No, that's true. Polls are weird. I remember a poll question like, "Do you like ice cream?" And I put yeah, but I don't eat it.
Really, you don't?
I haven't eaten ice cream.
I got an ice cream cake for my birthday, which is my favorite. I'm still eating that.
time.
I might have a big piece after the show.
There you go.
Carvel Cake, shout out. Give us a sponsorship.
Now this is just Mark Cuban. I thought that was an interesting and funny thing he was saying. If they were having his last wake, and it was him versus Trump, and he was being given his last rites, I would still vote for Joe Biden. So just he's definitely anti-Trump.
As he should be.
And which is interesting because I'm sure a lot of his peers are Republicans.
Yeah, I mean, I get that, but I mean, this is a litmus test of where you stand, and if you're in this situation, you have to be voting against Trump and in favor of democracy. Sadly, Joe Biden is not a good or attractive candidate for anything other than hospice. And so you're not given much of an opportunity to be enamored by Joe Biden. He's just an old, senile white guy who's been in politics for 100 years. And it's a horrible choice we're given, but unless you're an idiot, it's an obvious choice. Because in 2020, the other guy refused to leave the White House and attempted a coup. Now, as a country, we didn't have the balls to execute him for treason, which we should have, which you legally should do, because that's what he did. If he gets in again, he will leave only by death. And I predicted all of this back in 2015 and 16. If he got in, he would not leave. He's completely self-absorbed. He has no respect for rule of law. He has no respect for the history of this country in any level. And he's entirely there for his own self-interest and self-preservation. And it's a horrific, democracy-crushing precedent to allow this asshole in the White House again. And so that's the decision in front of you. So don't give me any shit about Joe Biden's a shitty candidate. I get it. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. And that's what this quote is telling you. What you're voting for is some semblance of democracy, albeit dysfunctional, versus a totalitarian regime led by a fucking moron. That's your decision. If you're comfortable with that, you can go to hell. If you want to stand down and not vote because you don't like either candidate, you too can go to hell. That's where we're at.
Yeah, there you have it. I do like to watch the debates. I watch almost all the debates. In particular, this guy. It's entertainment.
No. It's not. No, it's not because the sad truth of it is by looking at him as entertainment, you are legitimizing him, and that's the thing that we've done now for 8 years. Is we've looked at this guy as entertainment. And even half the people that aren't going to vote for him and acknowledge that he's an idiot sit there and digest his horseshit content. And it sells because people digest this as entertainment. This is not entertainment. This is treason. This is the destruction of democracy. And this is bullshit. And if you're going to engage in it, it's at your own peril. You legitimized him as a candidate, and he should not be. He should be a societal pariah rotting under a jail. And anything to engage in him as entertainment is absurd.
I don't disagree with any of that.
But you're too weak to do it.
But I disagree with the premise of a debate. What makes a good presidential debate is half entertainment. Like I was watching this.
No, it's not.
It is.
No.
Because even Obama was entertaining in that debate.
It's not. There's a difference. And again, if we had two legitimate candidates, if we had one legitimate candidate, a person that could articulate, that could speak to people, that could inspire people, like I get it.
Yeah,
I would watch that. But we don't have that in this election.
No, but
that's not it. I'm not looking. If you want to be entertained, watch a fucking sitcom. If you want, I'm not talking about mere entertainment. Like, if there's somebody there to inspire, to raise the level of this shithole, like, I'm here for it. But it ain't here now.
This is what I'm saying. When you have, it's weird because I don't want to put myself with like the idiots or
it's
whatever.
hard not to though.
but most of the country, and I believe I kind of put myself in this category, we're not as adept, up to date, and involved and aware of politics in this country and different policies and things that are best for us or not best for us. And inside of the debate, a lot of those questions are asked. A lot of those, topics and situations are brought up, and they debate about them, right? And I think a part of a good debater from a presidential candidate, he answers those questions, okay? Does his best to answer. Of course, a lot of them dodge them and does those little antics. But in order to maintain and keep the masses' attention while you're talking, is to provide some level of entertainment. I like the best one I've ever seen, and I don't think, and I fall different as far as what he actually did during his presidential campaign, Obama. But I felt like he was like perfect. He was like perfection, because I learned things during his debate, and he broke things down, and he told jokes. He dissed them a couple of times. Like he did all of those things in and out while teaching and learning. It was like a master class almost.
But and you strike the right thing there, because Obama, policies, accomplishments, we could debate. There's with any presidency, there's going to be positive and negatives, except for one. There's only negatives. And then, but what Obama was, and still he is the quintessential politician.
Yeah.
He's an inherently moderate person, but he's bright, he's engaging, he has humor, he has a note of inspiration. He is the quintessential politician. That's what the key was. That's why, yes, we can, like, he inspired, he drew the best out of people. And then in the backlash, the worst. But that's the trade-off we have in this country. But I agree completely with you. Like, I mean, I remember listening to the speech you give when they declare you the winner of the election.
Okay, yeah.
In 2008, he was in some big place in Chicago. And, I mean, I was choked up listening to him talk. Yeah. I was like, this is a brilliant moment for the country. We've finally taken some step in electing somebody that wasn't white to the presidency, and this is the guy, and he's historically spot on with his speaking. He's inspiring to listen to. Everything about that was brilliant. One of the better political moments that I've experienced. But again, that's generational. Like, I mean, there's people that felt that way about JFK, and we talked about him, earlier in the show. That's the exception. It's not the norm. And to kind of watch these debates for the norm is just not worth a damn, to me. But yeah, I mean, that's why I enjoyed his presidency as much as it did.
And I think sometimes it can hurt you too. Like, I think the Sarah Palin was hurt by it in hers. You know what I mean?
She was exposed for being a community college imbecile. If that's what you're talking about. Yeah. No, I mean, and it should be. But the bar's so low right now.
It is
on both sides that that's not what
it's
we're
not going to be
talking about. We're not.
It's not going to be a factor.
You know what you're going to get. You're going to get two senile, bumbling white men, just struggling. Yeah. I mean, it's going to be fucking awful. It is, because you're not going to get anything that you would say. I'm happy that I was here.
And then what do we get? You get 3 of these, I think.
Well, maybe they'll pass away before the third.
At the very least, I think it's 3. Yeah, something like that. So
it's possible this might be the only one, though. I mean, if it goes bad, if it goes as I expect it to go bad enough, they probably will not do them.
Yeah.
You know, just because they're basically both unfit to lead.
It doesn't surprise me. Yeah, if it goes bad or something, yeah.
They'll probably pull the plug. I mean, they're not. You know, hopefully they have people that'll be like. Hey,
and then they just do their individual campaign.
Just do your commercials and your horseshit speeches and all that. Yeah, but I can't imagine it goes any other way. But here, my criticism of people is that, as we all know, this is going to go badly, and we're still going to be stupid enough to like digest it and break it down and analyze it and try and make it something that it's not. Mm-hmm. This is two senile old people that should have not be anywhere near this, that are going to put on this shit show. And I mean, like, we look at like, nobody wants to see two 70-year-old boxers box.
No.
Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
You know,
we'll watch one.
We won't even watch one. Like, no, you're not gonna watch. You know, that's the thing. So that, but again, we this will be legitimized because all your news channels and people will. Oh, did you see? You know what? No. There's nothing to see here. Just do the right thing and end it.
Oh man. Alrighty. Where you at? Where you here? I want to give a quick shout out to Royal13thebrand.com. Again, that is Royal13thebrand.com. Okay, use promo code Bubba Pink. Okay, and be fresh in the summer. All right. Okay. All right. Let's get to story time here.
Yes.
And then we'll circle back to the draft and see what's been going on there. Okay.
Don't forget JJ.
We didn't talk about JJ?
No, we didn't.
Let's go to JJ now.
Okay.
Let's go to JJ now then. I thought we talked about JJ.
No, I got to be the keeper of the scheduler.
Yeah, man. Good call.
Yeah.
Pink the scheduler. So, okay, there's two things I wanted to talk about here with JJ. One, of course, is what you see here on the screen. JJ denies. Today, his camp came out. Not JJ specifically or personally, but his camp came out, denied through TMZ, calling a black woman the N-word at Duke. So this lady just sent out just a random tweet, okay, and was saying how it's funny. It's interesting how the tweet went, but it was like, hey, on such and such day at Duke University, I was going through the gym, and this white guy called me the N-word, and now he's the head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. Okay. What a world. Or something like that. I'm paraphrasing, but that's how the tweet went. Yeah. And
another certain asshole called for the death penalty of 5 innocent men who were all black and took out a full-page ad in the newspaper, and he's running for president. So yeah, if you haven't caught on to how the world is, lady, now might be the moment.
And so, and this tweet, of course, ended up going viral because she put the tweet out the day he became head coach, and so it starts circling, and then I guess so much so to where JJ's team, not even him, but it felt like he needed to deny. Now, she has since came out. She's been declining all podcasts and TV show, like ESPN tried to get her, Fox, and she's been declining those and her statement back was saying how, I didn't mean for this to be such a big thing. And she was like, and I'm paraphrasing again, but basically she says, I know that people can change, and it's highly possible that he can change. I just wanted to something about tell my truth and say what happened, okay, and but I would not be doing any interviews. Now, whether this happened or not, of course, and then JJ, I don't know, you remember he had another snafu a couple years back, but it was a Asian remark that he made or something, and he apologized for it. Yeah. Now, whether it happened or not, some people are saying, JJ has, he's dealing with all of these black players, and he's playing, so there's no way he could have said that, or this would have came up. I don't agree with that, because Donald Sterling, we didn't know, like the public, the masses, we didn't know until the tapes came out.
Right.
Now, I don't think that was his first time he ever said something about black people when those tapes came out. I'm pretty sure he always said something about them. And I was watching a podcast just 2 days ago, and DeAndre Jordan, he was on Podcast P, and it was asking him about that awful TV show they have out about the Clippers. And about Donald Sterling. And he was like, yeah, we never got any racist vibes from him. We just thought the people that he ran with were kind of weird. They would come in the locker room and ask for pictures when we didn't have, we were just in towels and stuff. Oh, kind of made us feel like objects.
Weird that way.
But again, it was, his people and not him.
Right.
So, I racist people can deal with black people when their check, when income is, around that. Like, if they're making money off of you or because of you, they're fine. Okay, they'll be fine. But they still have those beliefs. Now, do I think JJ probably said that? Again, we don't know. I mean, what context was it in? Did maybe she's not telling the side where she pissed them off or something? You know what I mean? I don't know.
The limited, and I don't want to excuse it. If he said this, it's unequivocally bad. There's not a whole lot of avenues in which it's okay to say this. So, having said that, the tweet itself does not reveal any context, and almost without context, it seems weird.
Yeah.
Why would a guy in a gym randomly say that to a woman who's essentially walking through the gym?
Yeah.
Like, there's no interaction, there's no bad blood, there's nothing to provoke this.
At least in the tweet,
did they go and have a bad date that went south and now they're bitter at each other?
Yeah.
Did she take a basketball and kick it into the bleachers when he's doing a workout? Like, I don't know. It just seems incredibly odd with no context that this would come up. So
it really does.
I would appreciate if she would offer an explanation. Again, it's her right to do so or not, but it is one of those things, like, you have to be aware that when you're tweeting about a high-profile person, that it has a chance to go viral, particularly when it's in that lane, something that's controversial, something that will question his character and credibility as a person.
And on top of that, when he's the main top news story.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not
on the same
you could
day.
have said this when he was a Duke player and he was still a very big persona.
Yeah.
You had 15 years of an NBA career to say it.
Very
you had
true.
3 or 4 years of high popularity podcasting, and now as Lakers head coach, it's the moment to say this. Again, I'm not saying it didn't happen, he didn't say it, but I'm curious. I mean, when I hear that what you described, I have an internal desire for more context. That's what I'm like, okay, what happened? Like, who just randomly does this? It doesn't make sense. But again, like with most white people, have they said it at some time? Have they expressed a racist viewpoint? Most likely, yes. Does your lifelong, whatever behavior consistent with that you're really, that's what you're about? I don't know. I mean, like she alluded to, it's possible, he could have said something and really kind of just grown from it. It's never been something to come up again. I don't, really don't know.
No, that's true. Eb says she believes him.
Of course
she believes
does.
her. And I was going to say, surprise us with a
to
take.
the surprise of no one.
To the surprise of absolutely no one. And then we got a guy, Big Task at hand, saying Nick Pride. You see it? Yeah, we talked about the Knicks for sure. Yeah. Knicks doing big things. But yeah, man, JJ. Like you said, I just wish she would have left more context there so we know and could follow the story a little better there. Now
I'm reminded of a conversation I had with my daughter, and she's like, Dad, one of the problems with white friends is that you're just waiting for them to say something stupid.
No, that's for sure. You got to rewind it, man. We talked about the Knicks earlier. You got to rewind it. We did like a 20-minute segment on the Knicks.
Yes.
And we like everything that they did. Oh, we like everything. We love everything that the Knicks did. All right. Now, and are doing, because they got more stuff to do. More moves to make. Now, on the other side of this remark here that may or may not have taken place, when JJ got the job, I saw your guy Ellis, right? I saw his post, and a lot of other people are on that as well, talking about the privilege.
See, he's a guy that I would listen to talk about just about anything.
Yeah.
Like whenever he has a take, even if you don't agree with it or all of it, it's so well stated that it makes you think like, oh yeah, let me rethink on that.
Yeah, for sure. He well thought out. Ellis Dean on Facebook. All of his posts are well thought out, and they whatever. Now, when they say that the privilege of because JJ doesn't have any prior coaching experience as far as NBA wise or collegiate, and he's a podcaster, and then you just move into this space of being the head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. I do not agree with Ellis and his take there, and other people taking that place, and I think that I think black people, I think we need to like pick and choose our battles, because if we just call foul and call white privilege and racism on every single thing, it loses its luster. It loses its validity. It loses its pack of punching power. You know what I mean? Like there is absolutely nothing wrong with JJ becoming the head coach of the Lakers. It's not like he broke the mold. There's been other. I just read a stat since 2012 or something. There's been 6 coaches that have been the head coach in the NBA without any coaching experience. So it's not like he's breaking the mold.
All former players of significance.
Yeah, or maybe not even of significance. Just whatever. That they just didn't have any prior coaching experience.
Yeah.
All right, and then you have you broke my momentum, man. They didn't have any.
Wasn't all that strong to begin with.
Well, yeah, but that matters. They didn't have any coaching experience. Okay. Oh, and then what do you say to that? And then I'll come back.
I'm not against it. So in the case of JJ, I remember he was on like one of those NBA TV segments late in his career, and he was talking about defensive 3 seconds and how NBA guys do that. And I just remember being struck at the time. His conversation was so clear, it was articulate, it was engaged. I had never thought of him as a guy that would coach.
Yeah.
And I remember after that little segment, I'm like, oh, he's really into the game. I could see him coaching.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of the first time that I thought he would be a coach. And his name came up last year, and I wasn't against anybody hiring him at that time. Like, you don't know until you know. And here's a guy who's played, basically dedicated his life to basketball, like anybody who's, at an NBA or coaching level should. But, I've always had the belief that he's like kind of well respected by his peers. And that's another thing I think that's important. So I don't have a problem with him getting a head coach. I don't think that the coaching experience is absolutely critical. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Jason Kidd had the same pathway.
Yeah, Jason Kidd, and like I said, and a few others. Now, this is where I was going after that, after the 6 coaches with no coaching experience, is when you look at the other coaches that were in the running for the Lakers head coaching job. First of all, JJ wasn't their first choice. Okay,
right.
So when you talk about white privilege, that's just automatically appointing someone to something when they don't deserve it. Okay, and when it may have been a person of color who did deserve it. JJ wasn't their first choice. Okay, JJ may have been their second or third choice. So so you have that Hurley decline. Okay, a lot of people, when they're talking about white privilege, they're talking about Sam Cassell. Okay, because Sam Cassell was really the only person of color that was in like the final running, if you will, because Borrega was the other coach that we interviewed. Okay, and the thing about Sam is maybe he deserves a head coaching job, maybe he doesn't. He's just like Darvin Ham. You expect the Lakers, who just had the same exact Darvin Ham started out as an assistant coach. Okay, he was on assistant coach for under a couple of different coaches, just like Sam. One of the main coaches that both of them were under the staff for, and Darvin Ham actually went back, is Doc Rivers. Okay, so you want a guy under the Doc Rivers coaching tree. You really don't want Doc Rivers, okay? But you want a guy under his tree.
In regards to JJ played for Doc for a long time.
Yeah, but he didn't coach under him. It's like playing for Bill. Tom Brady played for Bill, but he didn't coach under Bill. What happens to what has Bill Belichick coaches done in the NFL? We know the failures that they've had.
I get
and
it,
what have the coaches now are doing for have been under Doc Rivers? One has gotten fired in a year and a half, and the other one can't interview well. He can't get a job. Okay, so and Darvin Ham is similar to Doc. He's just a worse version. Okay, he's bad with adjustments. Okay, his substitution patterns stinks. He doesn't give younger players a chance to get on the floor. Okay, and he's not an X's and O's guy. He just can talk basketball well. Okay. And
that's debatable. My thing with Darvin Ham is he did not have much of a personality.
That may have been so, but by all players' accounts and things of that things of that nature, his adjustments were bad.
I agree with what you're saying, but I also think it hurts when you don't have a strong personality.
I'm sure.
Or charisma.
And the thing about Sam is Sam has been interviewing for jobs. And the NBA is not the NFL. Just last year, half the league were black coaches. And I'm not talking about of color. NFL does this thing of color, to try to say,
Robert Saleh in there.
You know what I mean? Like
Ron Rivera.
Yeah, but they people ain't black. They just have color in their skin tone. NBA, half of the league were black coaches, okay? So NBA doesn't have this problem. So if you can't get a job, it ain't because of white privilege and racism, okay? It's something that he's doing wrong, and he needs to get better at, okay? So that's my thing on JJ Redick and white privilege. I just think that we just can't be calling white privilege and racism on every single thing. It's off base here. It's just not. It's not a thing.
Yeah. I mean, Jason Kidd's a biracial guy, and he basically had the same path. But here's the thing, and I'm going to restate this. The Lakers' job is a bad job, and if I was JJ's friend, confidant, agent, whatever, I would tell him to pass on this job. I was thrilled that Danny Hurley passed on this job. I don't think it's a good job. But I do think this, with inexperienced coaches, coaching is a craft in and of itself. And I think that you're going to learn and progress. And I think Jason Kidd's a great example of that. Yeah. Like he was at Brooklyn, he was at in Milwaukee and in Dallas. And I think he's more comfortable in his persona as a coach now because he's learned. He's been through a lot of different experiences, worked with a lot of different players as a coach, not just as a great player, which he undoubtedly was. And I think JJ's going to have that same process. And, it'll be some lumps to it. And so it's not going to be pretty all the time. And he's going to learn a lot through this, good or bad. But Sam Cassell, he's almost like the basketball version of Eric Bieniemy.
Yeah.
Again, and it's really, I don't know, it feels like it's almost taboo to say, but what is the reason? What specifically is, Eric Bieniemy? What specifically is Sam Cassell doing in interview settings that's not making him an attractive candidate?
Well, for what it's worth, Eric Bieniemy did have that terrible thing back in the day. I forgot what was it, sexual harassment? It was something.
Right.
That was a big thing.
See, I don't.
But it was a long.
It's a long time ago. He's served as a good coordinator for a long time. I don't that can't. I'm not accepting that that's valid at this point.
And then you have what's the running back name? Shady McCoy, saying that he's just an awful, terrible guy.
Well,
but that's
Shady McCoy says that a lot about people.
But he benched him when he was with the Chiefs.
Right, Shady McCoy. I don't I don't hold him in high regard.
Yeah.
Maybe some of the stuff's right. I actually did his comments on Dak Prescott. But no, I don't find him. But there has to be something.
Yeah.
That is holding a guy like that back, because again, he's committed to learn the craft of coaching because he's been an assistant now for a while. And he hasn't just done it in like glamour spots or whatever.
And I want to make sure I clear this up. Eric Bieniemy, it wasn't anything like sexual harassment or anything. It was it was a litany of things: DUI, fighting, assaulting a firefighter, assaulting a parking attendant, speeding. These are just different things he had been charged of.
A big series of.
Yeah. But again, it was like a long time ago. Those things. Okay. Let's move this along here, okay? What we had, let's go to this draft because the 76ers and Lakers are picking here, okay? The Sixers, we picked Duke guard Jared McCain.
Oh yeah,
are you familiar with him?
Oh, more than you know.
Why you say that?
He's a super weird guy.
Super weird. I don't like super weird.
He's like the big like painted fingernail guy, and he's huge on TikTok, like singing and dancing.
Oh,
yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. He's a different dude. Like
But can he play?
I was never. I mean, like,
give me something. Don't just give me a dark cloud.
His better games was when he kind of hit shots, like he can shoot. But I don't think he's like a total sniper. Like he could shoot, but to me, I didn't see a great player. I don't. For me, no.
Yeah. He's undersized, 6'3". That's not good.
And he's 6'3". I don't think he's he's more like a shooter than anything. I mean, he seems kind of athletic, but nothing freakish that blows you away. He's not like a ball in his hands point guard guy, which again sort of out of style anyway. But I think he's like an undersized, essentially shooting guard with some decent athleticism. I don't see anything more than maybe a role player.
Yeah. I'm looking at his last 15 games, and they're just so up and down. Yeah. There are some games where he really gets it going from three, and then I think some games where he doesn't.
I think that's the thing. Like a Jared McCain game is defined by his 3-point shooting. When he gets going, he hits 4 or 5, whatever. He's had a good game.
Yeah.
But if he doesn't give you that, it's not like he's doing a lot of other stuff in the game that you're like, man, we don't win without him.
Okay.
And so I don't know where you. I mean, that's not a player that excites me.
Okay. Lakers have yet to make their pick, but they're on the clock.
They're literally on the clock right now.
Literally on the clock. I wanted to get to that before.
The Magic haven't picked, have they?
The Magic picked 18th.
Okay.
So right after the Lakers. Yeah. So they pick right after the Lakers here.
What are some of the other names that have gone since last?
Yeah. So Khalil Ware went to Miami.
Okay.
He's a center out of it just says I guess it's Indiana.
Okay.
Carlton Carrington went to Washington. Another guard. Devin Carter from Providence. He a shooting guard. He went to Sacramento.
Okay.
I didn't think they needed another guard.
There's De'Aaron Fox may not extend, so that could be franchise altering for them.
It can be. They can overcome that though with the other piece they have. You need to trade him if he's not going to sign though to get something back.
Yeah.
You got Nikola Topic, a point guard, OKC.
He was a guy that I thought was on some early drafts, like potentially in the top 5 or 10, and I think he had an injury, late in the Euro season, that may have affected his stock.
And then you have a Euro player, Matas Buzelis. Chicago Bulls took him at number 11. Cody Williams, I believe his brother is on the team or something. Utah Jazz.
Cody, he's from Colorado.
Yeah.
Not impressive.
Not impressive?
Kind of like a long athletic guy. Not really sure what exactly he does. That he hangs his hat on.
Yeah. And the Lakers take Dalton Knecht.
Athletic white guy from Tennessee.
Yeah.
I think he may have been SEC Player of the Year.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. He's not bad. I think he's like 6'7", 6'8". He can shoot it. He is pretty athletic guy.
Better version of Austin Reeves?
Could be in that, yeah.
Could be.
Yeah. I think maybe a bit more athletic, maybe not as skilled.
Yeah. Now, all reports say that the only way to truly for them to upgrade this team is to trade Austin Reeves. He's their best trade bargain along with their picks, and they're saying if you package Reeves and the picks, you can get, you know, a DeJounte Murray potentially or whatever, or someone like that.
If you could, I mean, I don't know if I'm making that trade if I'm Atlanta.
Yeah.
I'm not a big Austin Reeves guy. He's to me, he's a bench guy, like on a good team. That's his ideal role. Like, I think anything above that, he's just stretched a little too far. And I do think he's a little bit of the overhyped LA machinery.
His pro comp is Wally Serbia.
That said, though, I do like the Caruso for Giddey trade.
Oh yeah.
OKC.
Well, I love that for OKC.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, who cares? Who cares about Chicago? Windy City can blow itself away.
That was a terrible trade.
No, yeah, get rid of Josh Giddey, and he was really a liability in the playoffs. And then Caruso, a good two-way guy. I like it.
That was a stellar trade. I think that trade was more important. No, I'm not going to go that far. I won't go that far. That Mikal Bridges trade was really good. I'm not going to do that. But the Caruso trade was very important because the way that Dallas was able to guard, Giddey there, or they didn't have to guard Giddey at all. We watched the game where he missed literally every corner three he took.
He was just literally a liability. He shot so poorly they didn't have to guard him, and he really didn't bring anything else to the table. Yeah. So, and again, he's not like a defensive player that you can. No. I mean, Caruso's going to dig in. He'll dig in against Luka or whoever you're going to put him in front of and compete. And so, another nice piece. Lou Dort's going to compete like that. The Jalen Williams will get after it. I mean, it's really a good.
All they need.
He really feels like a good cultural fit for that team and the way they're building.
All they need really is like another big to get with Chet. Yeah. And that's it. And they're ready to go.
Yeah. I like it. Very good move. Very shrewd move.
Yeah, for sure. That's for sure. All right. So let's end the show here on this story here. And then if we get another good draft, news or story that breaks, we'll end on that, okay? So, this is Atlanta Story Series Part. What is this? 4?
Quattro.
4.
The Quattro.
Yeah. So on the last one, on Part 3, we talked about me getting my first Georgia peach there, and she didn't have any chest at all. Okay, so that was a little weird. First time me encountering that. Okay, and going through that, and then it ended because she wanted more. And I wanted more Georgia peaches.
Isn't that how it always ends? That's almost as predictable as a Ebony hot take.
Yeah. So I wanted more Georgia peaches. So that's how it ended. So we're gonna pick up from there. So after I end this situation with the Georgia peach there, okay, and we talked about the stalking. I'm still getting stalked, but what I do is I hit the dating apps. Okay, I hit the dating apps. Start hitting those strong, and then I'm going out, seeing people, dating people, doing a little stuff here and there. Make sure my rocks are getting kicked. What do they call that? Getting your rocks off.
Yeah. I don't think you want those kicked.
No, I don't want them kicked.
Might be a little unpleasant.
Getting my rocks off here and there, and I'm working. I'm doing well. Okay. Now, I come across what ends up being my girlfriend on the dating app.
She just didn't know it yet.
No, she didn't know it yet. I remember like it was yesterday. We met at Applebee's, okay? And
neighborhood grill.
Yeah, man. And, one thing about her is she was she's very, 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 very pretty. Not so much in body-wise, you know what I mean? Like, not, didn't have no huge ass or titty, but, it was okay. And then, but very, very pretty in the face. And so that's what drew me in. But there's two funny things or interesting things that happen. So as we're dating, you're in the dating stage. Now I live with my cousin, and at the time she's still living at home with her parents or what have you.
Oh, tough.
Yeah. So
early challenges.
So it actually took a while for anything to happen, for anything to go
man.
down.
Too cheap to get a room, Bubba?
Huh?
Too cheap to get a room?
Yeah. I don't know if that's my cousin or what. It kind of look like Ray. It might be Ray. It's dark. But anyway, so but we're talking about it when, because we're talking about it, but it's hard because I don't have a place. Now, what I do is I do the move where, like, yeah, let's go out of town or something. So, then we have to get a room.
Yeah.
All right. So nothing has happened yet.
And you always get a good performance on the road.
Yeah. At least I'm hoping so.
No, you always do. I mean, even if it's bad, it's good for her.
Yeah. So we get to this room. I can't make this stuff up. I hope y'all know that. All right. So we get to the room. All right. Now, she's not my girlfriend yet. We're just dating. We still just dating.
Haven't even banged her yet.
How
can she be your girlfriend?
Yeah. So we're just dating.
It's a prerequisite.
And so, we go out, do our things. We're back in the room. It's nighttime. It's about to go down. Okay. She's going to take her shower. So what she does is, she does the thing where she drops her clothes. Okay. And she walks in the bathroom, so I get to see her naked. This is my first time seeing her naked.
Okay.
And it's almost like,
Yeah.
I like the move that she did.
All right.
Okay?
Solid move.
Yeah, solid move.
Show us the body before we have to commit.
Yeah. So I like the move, and then she goes in and takes a shower. The problem
was
with
it a long shower?
It was a regular time shower.
Okay.
The problem is, Pink, is when I walk up, I don't know why I did it, but I did it. I'm not a weirdo. I went over to her clothes, okay, and there lied her drawers.
You make it sound like some story for the Bible. Like, there lied her drawers.
I'm getting old. I told you I'm getting old. Her drawers were so shitty, man.
What?
Shitty.
She had a skid mark.
I don't know if that was a skid mark. It was almost like it was skids in there. It was bad, man. It was like brown all over the place. It was brown all over the place. I was so disgusted. I was so disgusted.
Was it like a full bloomer, or was it was not like a thong type panties?
It was no, not a thong type panties. No, yeah, it was like whatever, regular not granny panties, but regular panties. And,
are you sure it wasn't like it was actual dookie versus like period stain?
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure.
Oh,
I'm sure.
God.
Yeah, I'm 100% sure of that.
So Bubba's new bride needed it depends.
Now,
wait a minute, time out. Did you like pick them up to see the shit? Or was it like obvious as they were sitting on the floor?
it was obvious, but I still picked it up.
Why?
I couldn't believe it.
Why?
I could not believe
You
this.
don't need to bring that closer to you.
I've been dating this girl for whatever now, 2 months, 2.5, 3 months. I've invested a lot of time and energy and haven't gotten any coochie, haven't gotten any head.
Wait, time out.
I haven't.
2 or 3 months?
Like 2 months. Probably like 2 months. Yeah.
That's still too long.
For sure. Yeah, like 2 months for sure.
If you're not,
probably a little longer than that, to be honest. But yeah,
if you're not smashing within a couple of weeks, you know.
I was down bad, man.
Wow.
I was down bad, and yeah. Now a little overlap with the of course I went back with the no chest girl.
Yeah.
Even though we called it off, you know how that goes. You go back here and there.
Circle
while
back.
I was still the circle back while I'm still dating the new girl.
All right. So did you have the audacity to address the shitty draws?
I did not.
No, come on, man.
I did not. But I did not let that deter me for the night either. I was so. I'm a nasty human being, and I know I'm nasty, and I'm not proud of myself.
Was it like fresh dookie, or was it like probably been there for a while?
No, it wasn't fresh. It wasn't fresh. It was like it was there all day.
Oh my God!
It was awful, man. And
Did they have full dookie smell?
I don't know about that.
Well, you brought it closer.
I didn't bring it close. I just said I picked it up. I didn't.
Hey, picking it up is closer than on the floor. So mathematically, you brought it closer.
Because I wanted to make sure, like, you know what I mean?
What else could it be?
So that goes on, and yeah, did I make her my girlfriend? So that's the that's the weird. That's you know, I'm a nasty guy. I'm not proud of myself.
At any point during the action, did that flash of the panties come into your head?
They didn't.
Oh, you were locked in?
I was locked in, man.
Damn.
I was locked in, and it was good. It was good. It was good stuff, man.
Did you ever bring it up at any point later?
I did not.
Did you ever find another shitty panty along the road of the relationship?
I did not.
Really? So she just had a bad day.
That was just an off day. That was just a James Harden 0 for 12 night in the playoffs, because that was a big night for us.
I know. And she literally shit the bed.
She literally shit the bed in her first ever playoff game. But I'm here to tell you, man, that's the only time.
You had a relationship with Josh Giddey.
That was the only time. Now we progressed, like I said, and we're dating, and we're in this relationship. Okay. Now what happens is, now that I got her, okay, and we got the sex going, we do the room thing like maybe 2 times or so.
Yeah.
And after that, it's just all car action. Okay.
Really?
I get cheap. And once I got her, I got her. I don't need a room. We're just gonna do this backseat car thing. We're gonna thug this out, okay? And
did you ever do the car one where you're like outside the door pounding?
No.
Like she's in the car and you're outside.
No.
That's really thugging it out.
No, but
you haven't lived until you've done that.
Yeah. But that's like if I was in a car now, I would have to do that. It's so uncomfortable. You know, I need more space.
Had more flexibility.
But back then, I had some flexibility, man. I was still mobile. Okay, and so yeah, we're doing that, and then okay, what happens after that is we get a place. Okay, we get a place together, and that probably was. Probably the silliest thing I've ever done.
The silliest?
Yeah, it was silly at the time. It was silly at the time because we hadn't been together long enough. And it wasn't just a regular place. It's like, you know, we bought a house.
You bought a house?
Yeah. And so, yeah. And that's how good it was, man. It was really fucking good.
Wait, you were renting it or you bought it?
Bought it.
You bought a house?
Bought a house.
Damn.
Bought a house.
In your name or her name or both?
Both.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, Bubba.
Yeah, I know.
That might have been the silliest thing.
I told you. You don't have to rub it in. I told you. That's it. We can move along.
I was just kind of fully grasping it all.
Yeah.
Buying a
Take
house
it in.
with another person, man.
I know. I understand. Okay, so we're going along. But that should have been the silliest part about it. But really the silliest part about it was that it was such a bad experience for the most part. Because then you got now after a few months or almost a year, COVID hits, and now we're together all the time.
Oh wow, this was right before COVID.
Yeah, when we got that right before, and then COVID hits, and the nagging, the about all types of stuff, man. Cutting the grass, washing the dishes, doing this, doing that. And you know, you can't leave the cup on the table. I mean, any small thing you can think of, and it's every single day, and it's all day, all the time.
Ugh.
And then on top of all of that, this crazy motherfucker in Orlando is still sending texts and calls. So she has beef about that too. You know what I'm saying? So I'm constantly like,
guess who I heard from today?
You know what I mean? I'm constantly getting berated all day. You need to get your whore. Stop texting me. You know what I mean?
Well, you gotta stop shitting your pants. Let's not forget you're in a glass house.
But she's doing the dumb thing of like texting back and doing things. I'm like, you have to just like ignore. Just ignore.
Yeah.
And, you know, I told you not to respond the first time, so maybe she'll think she has the wrong number or something. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta. All right. But anyway. So we go through that. All right. Then maybe I should leave it because there's more to it on part 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because then the parents come into play.
Okay.
And then let's do that. I'll leave that for.
Go to part 5.
We'll leave that for part 5.
Stay tuned. We had.
We'll leave that for part 5.
Oh, I still can't believe the shitting in the pants.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
Am I in the right for still going after it though? Is that
Boehner?
Yeah.
I mean, you got a hotel room, Bubba. You got to cash out somehow.
You know?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, don't let that deter you.
Yeah.
Nah.
Took a shower.
Yeah.
She took a shower.
She did, definitely. Rightly so.
Right. So she was self-aware of that.
One time I was in a situation where I had without my knowledge, had inadvertently partially shit on the floor at somebody's place.
You did?
Yeah. And the person didn't disclose this for like several weeks. And so like I never knew it happened. And then one day they're like, hey, you realize like you actually like left some shit on the bathroom floor. I'm like when? You know, I didn't shit today. They're like, no, it was like a month ago. I'm like, what?
How did you do that? You did the thing where you're kind of like trying to hover over the toilet?
No, I'm not a hover guy. I'm a sit down guy. I don't know if maybe I just was like moving too quickly to get there and already had my pants down, or I don't know. Like, I mean, I never was clear on like the exact position of the shit. I mean, if it was maybe next to the toilet, it could have been like an explosive diarrhea episode. Yeah, that just didn't get captured by the bowl. I don't know.
You know what's funny is this. I don't know if you saw that comment on YouTube. The lady, I forget which clip it was, but she was like, "Oh, I'm so disgusted. How did you guys turn this into sex?"
What were we talking about?
But I think you did see it because I think you commented back too. I think because that's when I said, well, we are two grown men on a podcast. You didn't see that comment?
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay, so maybe that wasn't you. It was somebody else.
I gotta.
So I was like, yeah, so we are two grown men on a podcast. But my point today is, we're going to talk about sex. You know, shitting on the floor, it might pop up here and there.
You never know what you're going to get.
Just never know what you're going to get. I mean, you know.
Like we said, on the bench, the guys talk about anything.
Yeah, that's it, man. Before we end the show, let me see if we have any more draft
info.
Yeah, let's see here. Apparently, they're saying that guy fits with Maxey pretty well. I don't know how. How are you going to fit well with Maxey? And he's a small guard, so you're going to have two small guards in the backcourt.
I mean, I mean, he could be complimentary in the sense of like shooting. Like he could probably effectively spot up when Maxey's, you know, kind of penetrating and creating havoc. Yeah. But defensively, it's a question because they're both undersized.
It's not a question. It's an answer there.
Problem.
It's a problem. Let's see here. So we knew what the Lakers. Okay, so Orlando Magic, they took Tristan da Silva from Colorado. He's a swing guy, 3'4" guy.
Okay. Colorado knocked the Gators out of the tournament, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I guess they were a decent team. I don't know.
Yeah, but he's the type of guy that they always draft. They always draft those combo 3-4 guys. Always.
Well, last year did they go with the combo guard guys with Black and
Yeah. Black is a combo guard.
And then what was the Howard's son? Isn't he kind of like a?
I thought he was a wing.
Okay.
But Black definitely is a combo guard.
Yeah.
More on the defensive end too.
Yeah.
But this guy supposedly he has a dribble, pass, shoot package. That's what he is. So he may be. But
okay where are you gonna play him with? Like, I mean, if your team's essentially built around Paulo and Wagner,
maybe he's just a guy you're gonna bring in and develop at number 18 pick. So, Toronto, who cares about them?
Who did they pick?
Jacoby Walter.
Okay.
He's a guard from Baylor.
Okay.
And then that's all we have so far.
All right.
Yeah. All right, so we'll be back next week. Hopefully, maybe we can get those TBT guys in. The guys, they have a Orlando-based team playing for, is it $1 million now or $2 million?
It's $1 million. Shit, it should go back to $2 million.
Yeah, the very first year was $2 million, huh?
No, the very first year it was $500K.
Okay.
The year we did it the first time it was $1 million, and then the second year we did it was $2 million.
Okay.
And then in COVID, they cut it back to $1 million and haven't brought it back. One more way in which COVID fucked us.
Catch you guys next week.
Yes.